let's check. The levels are good here, and yeah, desktop audio is working this morning. Okay. Hey, welcome to the stream, and just to give an update, I'm working on a samurai game from kind of a working on a samurai game kind of from a isometric perspective, and currently I'm going through and doing kind of a refactor of this prototype, so it doesn't quite look like this at the moment in the new version of the project, but we've got some character movement, and we have the beginnings of a dash, so that'll be good. One of the things that I was working on was currently there's no player rotation for the controller or anything like that, so you just rotate based on which direction you want to go. So I've been working on that, and yeah, we can check that out. All right, so as you can see, there's a bunch of kind of figuring stuff out. Logic in here, it's no longer used. And then the other thing that we did in this project was we have the controller, but also some of the character logic is inside the top-down controller, and then even more logic is in like the animation blueprint and stuff, which we may not get away from once we get the animations going. But yeah, one thing this controller did was we just we took the controller rotation, we took the right, and that's what we plugged into the world direction, and took the controller rotation and plugged it into Z for up and down so that he turns. That all makes sense to me. But I'll show you what I did with the new version here. So yeah, we have like so this will move the player left and right, and then this one here will move the player kind of up and down the screen. And I was experimenting with kind of like using the like character's forward rotation, right, to do it. But the problem is in an isometric view, like as soon as you're facing this way, suddenly your controls are all wonky, like left and right pushes you like this, you know? So right now, basically, if I push W, I will always go up the screen, and S to go down the screen. So if I turn this way and I press W, I'll still go up and down. And then left and right, A and D, do that. And it's the same with the stick. Now, the one problem I have with the stick rotation at the moment is I'm only using the X and Y axis, so like if you want to like snap to like the up location, you have to like do this janky rotation. So that would be something to figure out next probably. Although we were in the middle of the dash yesterday, so I think I want to continue making the dash work, and then we'll figure out the rotation. I might need to do a little bit more research because right now it's pretty simplistic here. So I think yaw is the only one we want to. It's the only one we want to mess with. So I'm not sure. How we would reflect the values of the like going up and down or something like that. So rather than like a snap to position. And I was looking through some old projects because I feel like I've tried to make this before, but yeah, anyway, I might off stream I'm gonna probably look around YouTube and see if I can find something like how some other people implemented it, and I'll report back hopefully tomorrow morning about that. Okay, so let's okay. It's rough when you're like looking at something like, okay, what was I doing yesterday? All right, these are 2 attempts, right? And then we have our multi-sphere cast by profile, and we like that because you can create a new collision profile if you want, but we're just gonna collide on pawns right now. So basically in Unreal Engine, anything that is a pawn is something that can be controlled by the player or the AI, so that kind of fits the bill for things we probably want to hit when we're dashing. All right. Okay, did I do anything else that was like hacky, like this get dash? I think we're okay with what this does, right? All right, yeah. So we're just getting a really far distance for the in front of the player. That's fine. And this still works. This is based on the rotation, which is cool. All right, and then we were testing the trace, right? So if you look here, we only traced the cube, and then we had a collision. That time we hit a player base, and if we do it that way, we still. Oop. So that time we hit the player base, and then we stopped. So, and I think if I do it just right. No. Well, anyway, we can do a test easier than this. Just duplicate this one. There we go. All right, now. Okay, so that's another thing, I guess. Once we're blocked, I guess. So that's not really what we want, because we want the dash to hit both these guys. Okay. So what we're doing is we're looping through all the different things that we're hitting. So I don't want the blocking hit to stop. And I don't want to ignore. For some reason yesterday I thought this worked by like I don't think I have the ability to do anything else with this. Huh. So yeah, I don't know. My brain is saying, do we need to just not have a blocking hit? Is that possible? And then can we go through everything, including like walls and stuff, and then just be like, okay, we have our list, and inside our list we iterate through the list, and then as soon as we get to an element that is a wall or something, we say stop, right? Seems like a lot of useless iteration though. So, okay, let's look at. So this collision preset is what a profile is apparently. So, do all pawns ignore visibility channel? That's weird. I feel like that should be still findable. Okay. So it blocks other pawns, but does, like, we could create a trace response maybe. How do I get a trace response? All right, so you said you could create collision profiles, so basically this cast, right, this trace can is using a collision profile. So right now it's using this one. So if we go into our project settings, go into collision. Okay, let's go here. All right, so object channels, trace channels. Okay, so here's all our presets. I just want to say to Epic, if they are listening, please name things consistently, right? Like, these are the collision settings, and they're called profiles here, but then like in the player, they're called presets. I don't know, it kind of makes it hard when you're trying to figure out what the docs mean. So these are the collision presets. These settings are saved in the default engine ini too, so That's interesting. Okay, so we could create a new trace channel, but then I want it to hit upon. Anyway, let's try it. We'll call this. We'll just call it the dash channel, and the default response is to ignore. Let's do ignore. Okay. How do we edit it? Okay, edit. What? No. How do I? What? This isn't a very useful thing. Can I edit this for real? Like, let's see if I... Like a pawn has like some stuff. So if I edit this, see, it gives me a whole thing. What? So is a trace channel just like... not super helpful? Okay. Alright, let's just delete this trace channel. If you delete this channel, yeah, okay. That's fine. Let's do a new object channel and let's see if we can modify that. This is weird. It's weird that you... Like maybe there's another place that we can define this stuff? I don't know. Okay. Let's call it dash here. Alright, can I edit this in a meaningful way? What? Okay, so... Oh, I see. So there's a... Alright. Hello, WizDad. Welcome. I'm just struggling to read directions here, so... okay, so what I just realized was there's object channels, trace channels, and then the presets, also known as profiles, and these channels are just additional channels. That's why it's like default is block. So this we don't actually need. This is like if you want to set up a whole nother thing, like a new type of pawn or something, or maybe you just have an enemy channel or whatever. We're gonna delete that. So there's actually a button here for presets. So we want to create a new profile. That's what we're trying to do. That's why this one has all the stuff that we expected. Okay. We're just gonna call this the dash trace profile, and yeah, I don't think I care. Just use this as a... I'm just trying to get our trace for our dash attack to only pick up... We want it to pick up pawns, but we don't want it to be blocked by anything. We want it to be... How am I trying to say this? We don't want it to be blocked by pawns. So I think we're going to go with try to do overlap for pawns. See what happens. Doesn't overlap register a hit though? That's the problem. Everything else I think we want it to be blocked by. Alright, let's just... Alright, this is custom. Alright, cool. Okay. So now in our player base, did I just call it dash? What did I call it? Dash trace. Okay. So in this profile here, which is really a preset, all right, so I'm creating a profile name here for dash test, which is connected to this one here, which I set to overlap with other pawns and then hopefully get blocked by walls. But then the question is, does the trace register a hit when it overlaps with something? That is a question. Okay, well, we'll try it. Okay, so we're still getting blocked by cubes. I think we're still getting blocked by player characters. All right. So the basic problem here is that this guy gets blocked. The trace gets blocked right there. Or I want it to get blocked by the wall, but I don't want it to get blocked by pawns. Okay. All right. So let's just make sure our collisions are all set up properly on the player. And by that I mean, let's like turn off the collisions. Okay, so this is kind of complicated here. I guess that's something we could figure out actually. What are we actually hitting, right? Let's, instead of the hit actor, let's do the hit component, because I wonder if we're like, are we still hitting the capsule or are we hitting the mesh? Let's do that. Okay. No, we're hitting the cylinder, so we're hitting the right thing. Okay, so now let's look at our main collision for the capsule. So we're set to pawn, but pawn might not know what to do with like, so our actual preset's not like in here, so I don't know what that means either. Let's do custom real quick. Do I need to like refresh this? Can I? Well, I don't know. I guess I expected the object responses to show up in here, but maybe not. Maybe that's a different thing. All right. Huh. So it's like an object type, maybe. That we'd have to create a new object type to get into the list. Okay, so the other option here is to make this trace not care about walls, which is a different sphere cast, I think, and then so maybe not using the profile, and then prior to actually making this cast, we do a distance check and we decide how how far our cast can actually go before we hit something. So 2 ray casts, or traces, or whatever you want to call them. So, all right. I'm getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I want to make a function for some of these little mini pieces, right? But then like, this is where like an actor component comes in, where you're like, I really want this function to be a local function of the dash attack, which means it's really in its own class, right? It's not like if you have like 6 functions that are about dash attack inside the player base, it feels like there's something wrong, right? Like too many methods that are being used inside this class that are like completely related to one type of functionality. So like this, I would want to take and put into its own function. So I am resisting the urge to do that right now, but I think I'm getting more and more convinced that I'm going to separate out this logic into a different class so that I can just add it to the character and then have it work. But yeah, like I would want to just like wrap this up, like say like this is my like attack cast, right? And then, you know, some sort of enemy handling, sure, like we did that in the previous version of this. And then now we're gonna have a second cast, so, or trace. So I want this logic. Yeah, let's keep that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find another trace. Let's see what we can do. Okay, so the cheapest one I believe is the line trace. So we could just do a quick line trace, but it's possible that, I guess that's fine because we want it to be inclusive of like, we want it to block whatever's in front and kind of stop right away. So if we did a sphere cast, I think it would still block, but it would block more stuff. So you could get away with like an edge case would be like a corner of a wall or something like that, and then maybe the line trace works because like dead center, we actually are missing it. So we're giving the player the ability to possibly dash through a wall, but the player won't actually dash through the wall. So maybe we do need it to be more like the first one. Okay, so maybe this time we need it to be profile. I don't know. Let's see what channel. I can't remember. Visibility, camera. Oh, look, our dash is in here. What does that pick up? Oh, and I want... No, actually, maybe I don't care about multi-trace actually at this point. I just need one. All right, let's just try it with the channel. Okay. And that's not what to do. Darn it. Okay, so in here we're gonna take everything actually. I broke the wrong struct. Okay, so we start at that location, and then the end location is going to be I guess we want the other piece too, so I'll just grab it. All right. And we'll put that stuff here. Okay, so now we're just gonna try to trace. We'll start with the visibility channel. We're gonna do a persistent thing. What else can we look at? Okay, and then our radius, I think we did like 60. So, all right. So if this thing hits anywhere, we stop. Let's just see what happens. Okay, so I think that does what we want. And basically we can get the location of this hit and call it, that's how far our dash actually will go. So like that one missed everything because pawns aren't on the visibility channel, which maybe that's good. Because we don't care. We want to be able to hit everything. We don't want to be blocked. So actually that might be, as I was noting earlier, it's weird that they're not on the visibility channel, but maybe that's good. Okay, for this particular moment. All right, so we're testing the entire dash length, but when we get a hit, that's our new dash length. So all right, so we have this whole hit thing. And then we're going to take this piece. I'm not even sure we need to set the Z at this point, because why do I keep setting Z? Oh, because of the target thing. The dash target. But we don't, yeah, this doesn't matter right now. Okay. I'm not actually using the mouse click for the dash targets at the moment, so I don't know if I need that stuff. Okay. So then our impact point, or our hit location, is probably exactly what we want. So let's go there. So now we're limiting our dash to where we can actually go to, and then we're going to limit our trace to that as well. And then we need to change this multi-sphere by profile to something else. So, and I think sweep a sphere against the world, return all initial overlaps. They all use different language too, like hits, overlaps. Okay. So this one sweeps across the world and returns all initial overlaps using a specific profile. Then overlapping hits and the first blocking hit results are sorted. So the blocking hit, if found, is the last element. Only the single closest blocking hit will be generated. No tests will be done after that. So we don't want that one either. So I think we're back to using this object one, which I don't like because of these arrays, but like I wish I could just like open this up and be like, it's an array in the moment. Okay, it's fine. So let's leave, I don't know if we can leave the actors to ignore blank. But yeah, this is what happened last time. This like generates 2 arrays. But I think the other ones all use okay, let's just do this multi-sphere. So we could do something where like we do, nah, I don't think it's gonna work. Okay, unless we switch the dash channel to like ignore everything but pawns. But what was the other one that I was using before? Profile. So profile, multi-sphere by profile. This one was generating hits everywhere, right? So like, and wasn't getting blocked. All right, let's go back here. Let's edit this. Okay, so the dash trace, we could have it set up to sure. What's this top thing for? Is this our default? I don't know. Oh man, this just opens that literally just opens the documentation for collisions. Okay. Let's not worry about that yet. So we want the dash to actually, get the pawns, but then ignore everything else. How about that? We don't want them to block. We want them to overlap. Let's try it. Okay. So that means we will use. It's funny that there is a trace channel here for dash, which I thought I deleted, but it's still there. Okay, so don't get tricked by that. Let's call this dash trace. All right, we're gonna use this one. All right. Okay, so this is just basically printing out whether we got blocked or not. That's fine. And then we're sending our stuff to this for each loop. That's fine. And then you're going here. I will delete this. All right, pull this down. Okay, so we are starting here. We are ending where our initial trace told us to. We are gonna add a persistent debug, and we are going to change. Let's change it to like a purple, and then the trace color will be ghost colored. Okay. And we will switch back to actor for this. Okay. So we're going to make this trace by profile. The profile we're using is our new custom trace. We are going to print out everything that we hit. Okay. Let's test. All right. Let's see. So first test. We hit this thing and the traces are all false. Okay. The one thing that's sort of weird is, oh no, that is how it should trace, right? So the yellow one won't go any further, right? Okay. All right, so now if we do this one, we will end up being blocked by the first pawn, but our trace should go all the way through. Okay, why did the trace go backwards? Are we going to a zeroed out thing or something? We are. Something weird. That one kind of worked. Oh, you know, okay, start with, our sphere cast is messed up. We have a 0-0 sphere cast for 1. All right, I need to make this easier to read, actually. Okay. Okay. By the way, we're not hitting anything. That's currently what's happening here. Okay. All right, so that works. We stop at that piece. But if you see, our target now is 0, 0, 0. Yeah, okay. So we've messed up the hit location is. I guess if there's no hit location, that's one thing we didn't do. But why? Oh, yeah, so if there's no hit location, this will freak out. Okay. It's just gonna be 0. Yeah, so anyway, this has a helpful thing that tells you if there's a blocking hit, right? So we could do can we do like there's like a choose float. Is there like a choose vector? Pick vector? Switch vector? I don't want to do a switch, but switch on vector. There's this this little thing, select. Let's try select. Select float, select vector. It'd be super useful if we have both. Okay, yeah. So this is a cool little function here. It just basically takes an input of 2 vectors and a true/false value. So we can take this hit, right? And we can say, if this is true, that means we have a hit location. And if it's false, we'll generate our hit location again. Okay, let's delete that. Put that there. Okay. And then we don't have to have like a branch, right? All right, and then this is where we get we take all of our ugly code here, which could be its own little function, and stick it over here. All right. And then we need to make a vector. Okay, so what is, okay, XY, wait, no, we don't need these. We just need C for that one. And we can stick these below, right? Getting crowded. All right. Okay, so now this is just our regular target that we originally had assigned. And we just want to put that here. And we'll delete these. We'll just move down a little bit because this is getting crazy. All right. I don't want to celebrate victory just yet, but this is too much stuff in here. Okay, let's move this forward some more. What if there was a switch channel that was just devoted to someone moving around blueprints and organizing it? That'd be, I bet you that would do well, like a ASMR channel. Maybe people can send you their code and you just like straighten all the lines or something. Okay. All right, let's see how this works. If it works. Okay, here we go. First test. Hit a wall. Did we hit the wall? We did. And did we check? This light blue is our check, right? So that's fine. If we try to do it right, this guy, we should not hit him, right? Okay, now, if we have two guys, it looks to me like we hit him. Also, we hit him like 20 times. That's interesting. Are we just spamming this somehow? Why are we? Is it like, why is it doing like multiple hits? That's weird. Okay. All right, so good. We got something, but this array seems like it's gigantic, right? I wonder if that was happening in the other version of this too, because I think I was using the same kind of trace. Sphere will sweep a sphere against the world and return all initial overlaps. See, it says initial though. Okay, I'm gonna do, technically this only happens once, right? Let's do a print here. Doing dash, okay. So doing dash, all right. So you see, it only fired once. Okay, so this piece, doing dash, but then it like, the sphere is like hitting the enemy like in 10 different places, right? And it's counting all those inside an array, which we do not need to count more than one hit here. We only need one thing. So, okay. I don't know if this will actually work, but if I promoted this to a variable, will I get to see these hits? Let's make it, I just want to, I mean, it's obvious that we're looping through that array, so where's our player character is not in here, so selected viewport, pause. Which one is us? Player base 0 maybe? Alright. Okay, all. Alright, it's too generic, I can't figure it out. Hit, out, isn't that what it was called? Out hits, okay. Alright, so now, let's play. Ooh. I am, okay. Ick, what is happening with my, is it because I'm, I'm like doing like double camera here. Hello, Krillin. How are you? I am. There's like a. Okay, so I think just because we're watching this array, it's like really crunching. All right, let's pause here. All right, this. Yeah. So, man. Just when you thought you maybe had it. Okay. Yeah, so it's filling out this hit with like everything. All right. But it's hitting this one character 14 times. So, but this one's hitting the character mesh. What's the next one hitting? Still character mesh. Okay. Character mesh, bone. It's going specifically to different things, which is cool if you're targeting limbs, which we could do that in this game because I have it set up. Yeah, Krillin, thanks for coming. We're kind of in the final minutes of the stream here. I'm trying to debug this this dash attack, and because I'm refactoring it. So let me show you what the original dash attack looks like. So we have this little samurai character here, and he does these dashes, and when he dashes he attacks the little ninjas and cuts off their arms and heads and things, and blood goes everywhere. And you can dash really far, but there's a problem. The problem is that dash doesn't care about walls. So we just fly through all the walls and we glitch out of the screen, things like that. So yeah, did a few kind of hacky things to make this work, and it looks good and feels good, but those glitches are not acceptable in the final game. So yeah. So currently working with different types of traces to refactor that. And this one that I've come up with is doing sort of what I want, which is I want to be able to get all the actors that it's hitting, but I want it to stop at a wall, and those two things are working. But now this trace by profile actually is hitting. It's registering like multiple hits per actor, which means this array gets bigger and bigger. Like it's like, you know, as we saw earlier, it's like 14 hits per actor. So we don't really want that. We could make the sphere smaller or something, but okay, that was just slowing down because I was like examining stuff, right? Let's make sure. Yeah, it's not, doesn't really care. Okay. But yeah, too many hits. All right. So what do we do about that? We're so close to victory. It seems messy to let it be such a big array. So we have this dash trace that we're using. What happens if I just say, like, ignore these things? Will that change it? All right, let's try those two. I don't think it's gonna work, but okay, that still does work. That's still generating 1 million. Okay. So whatever that does doesn't matter. Yeah, so the multiple hits thing, that's kind of not what we want. I just want to do 1 hit per character. So like, okay. Let's look at actors to ignore, right? Compile. What could we ignore in here? Like, so here we have to literally choose something from the actual playing field. That's not helpful at all. All right, delete. Okay. Hello again, Marvelous White. I'm about to wrap up my channel for the day. I've got like 2 minutes left on my timer. I hope you're doing well. I am trying to figure out this dash attack issue we have. So if you know anything about multi-sphere tracing, that's kind of where we're at right now. We're getting way too many hits on one actor. So I really want it to be 1 hit per actor. So we could filter the array, right? Like that's the other thing we could do, but is that what we really want to do? I don't know. So we have this out hit array. What can we do with this? We can add, we can append, we can clear, we can check, we can find, we can loop through it. So I was thinking about, like, you could dedupe the list, right? But then what we saw earlier was that we have they're hits, so they're not like, it's not like you can dedupe the hits because the hits are all different. They have different like locations, things like that. So yeah. So yeah. So And we can query which actor is being hit, but I feel like looping through 14 hits each time you do a dash attack, which is happening like all the time and like in the middle of the game, and then just picking out the characters is probably not. So like, okay. Last thing I want to do before we wrap. Okay, so we do this here, right? We do it here in the dash targets, like get dash targets. Let's see. Get attack targets. So right in here we do it. So you know what? I'm gonna do a for each right here. I just want to see, because maybe oh, but we're doing objects. We're doing this object based. We're not doing profile based. So this, yeah, maybe we're going back to this, because this I think this generates just one hit per object. Okay. I was experimenting with new traces, and the one I chose was not. The one I chose is very. It generates tons of hits, which is fine, but not for this case. Okay, so here we're gonna do that. So I think. All right. That does seem to. Look at all the hits. So there. So every time I do this, especially if there's like multiple, I'm probably running through so we've got an array with like the same actor over and over and over again. Like, that's kind of annoying. All right. So this is not actually working better. This is the same. This is probably like a really weird use case, maybe. I don't know. I think we need to get to a point here where we don't let perfection be the enemy of the done. So I think it means we may need to pick the best solution and go for it and call it a day. I do think we need to probably somehow strip out the actors from the list and not do all of the other heavier stuff, maybe. So I do think somewhere in this, like, we might need to do a loop on the thing, and then like do something like, okay, for each person that's in the loop, we're creating a new array, so we can duplicate. Oh no, I don't want hits. I want an array of. I'm going to promote this to a variable, and I'm going to call this hit actors. Okay, and then I'm going to make it an array. Change it. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, don't freak out. All right, we're going to kill that. Okay. Now we have our hit actors. We're gonna get it, and then we can add a unique. So I believe add unique will check to see if the actor is unique, maybe, hopefully. All right. And if that works, Yeah, see, it will, if the item's already present, it will return index and none. So I think that will work. Okay. So we take this and add it here. And then when we're done, let's for each on it just for fun. For each loop. And we will do the same thing. We'll print string, and we will just do the display name, and hopefully we will get a lot less. So, okay, and then we'll make these pinkish red, and that will tell us what we need to know, I think. Okay, let's try it. And we're in our beautiful test map. Okay, so there was no hits there, right? Okay, did you see that? It showed just the one kind of in pink is our list, okay? So this time, wait, what? Oh, yeah, so that's the other thing we did. We're building up the array now. So we need to, so this actors these are now like always like a whole list of actors. So after we complete, we can just, this is for testing. But every time we are done our attack, we've done everything we need to do, we need to basically clear this array out, which we do in the other one too. So I'm going to print it to the screen, then I'm going to clear it. That way I get only the last hit. Okay, so nothing, right? And then these guys, we hit both of them. And then you can see the first round we get like a ton, but then at the top there we get only those two. So we hit them like 20 times, but we only cool. All right. And now if we do it again, we get nothing. And we're trying to hit them from through the wall. We can't. And there's that edge case we talked about where there's like this possibility of like hitting him. But I'm bouncing off the wall, so I don't know. Okay, that's actually not terrible, but we are looping through what we get and dealing with it. So I could see this being like a choke point if we're getting like a ton of data back. But given the limited tools, I'm not sure what else. Like I feel like I've tried all the different tracing, and the one I need is the one that will do multiple hits. So yeah, so I think this might be where we go from here. All right, we're getting to a point where this could be its own component. All right. But we still haven't done damage. Now we have at least a list of actors that we can attack. So next would be kind of doing the damage piece, and then we have to figure out how to slot in the actual animations again, which was the trickiest part before, because when do you initiate the dash? When do you actually cause damage to the enemies? You kind of want to do it in the middle. So, I don't know. Now we're doing kind of a launch, so Oh, and the other thing we have to do is like, how do we get the player to launch through everybody? So one thing that we can do is like basically turn off the colliders on the enemies after they've been hit. That might be where we go. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. We're gonna shut it down for the day, but I'll see you tomorrow. And we'll figure out the rest of this. Hopefully this is interesting to somebody, but yeah, it's been fun streaming every morning, so thanks a lot for tuning in.